Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're zooming in on something that seems, well, simple, right? Getting an event onto your digital calendar, but it's surprisingly complex behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like it should just work. Click a button, it's there.
Yeah.
Done. But for the folks organizing events, especially big ones, sending out thousands of invites,
Yeah.
that simple click hides, well, a world of technical headaches, workarounds that backfire, and frankly, a lot of user frustration.
Right. So our mission today really is to kind of unpack this debate for event organizers, specifically, the ones dealing with big audiences, marketing events, transactional stuff.
Yeah, large scale.
Yeah.
Where you need reliability.
Exactly. And we're basically putting two things head to head. You've got the traditional calendar invite, the proper one sent via server,
The original, yeah, following the rules.
versus the thing you see everywhere, that add to calendar button.
Right, the button usually linked to some kind of RSVP form
Yeah.
on a separate page. You click it, maybe download a file.
Which, spoiler alert, seems to be where the problems start.
Oh, definitely. Our sources, they pretty much frame it as, well, the proper invite protocol is the hero here, the unsung hero maybe.
And the add to calendar button plus the form combo.
That's the bad actor. It
Mhm.
just introduces friction and complexity every step of the way.
Yeah.
Good intentions, maybe, but pave the road to, well,
Okay, before we get into all the ways it goes wrong, let's just nail down the core difference, because they can look pretty similar to the end user. When we say add to calendar button, what are we actually talking about technically? Usually it's an .icl file, right?
Yeah, most often. Think of that .ical file like a modular photocopy of the event details.
A photocopy.
Exactly. It's static.
Yeah.
Just a block of text data, date, time, location. When you click that button, you're just downloading that file onto your device.
So it's one way, fire and forget.
Totally one way. The organizer sends it out, but gets nothing back directly from that file.
Okay. And the hero, the true calendar invite, how's that different?
Fundamentally different. It's not just downloading a file. It's actual communication.
Yeah.
It relies on universal protocols. The standards usually set by the IETF Internet Engineering Task Force.
Right.
It's a message sent from the organizer server to the recipient server. It's designed for a two-way conversation between the organizer and the attendee's calendar client.
So not a photocopy dropped in the mail.
No, more like a certified letter. It requests the response to your RSVP and lets the sender follow up with certified updates later.
Okay, that makes the technical distinction much clearer. So let's dig in. If that native two-way invite is so much better, more reliable, less friction for the user, why on earth did organizers, especially for big marketing campaigns, end up using this clunky add to calendar button system?
Yeah, it boils down to an infrastructure gap, really. Your standard calendar servers, Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, they're great for internal company meetings or maybe inviting a few dozen people.
But not for thousands.
Exactly. They just weren't built, technically or commercially, to handle blasting out invites to massive lists, tens, hundreds of thousands, and then efficiently collecting and analyzing all that yes, no, maybe data coming back.
So the organizers needed a tool like a REST API to send these invites programmatically at scale.
Precisely.
But that tool for calendar invites specifically just wasn't widely available in the way it is for, say, email marketing.
You got it. They have robust email APIs, but the calendar invite API piece for mass marketing, not so much historically. So because they couldn't easily use the proper server-to-server protocol at scale, they had to invent a workaround.
And that workaround was the client-side solution, the add to calendar button using that simple static.ical file download.
Yep. It seemed like a clever fix at the time.
And here's where we get into the weeds. That simple workaround created a cascade of problems downstream. Let's break down these big fails. What's the first major issue with the add to calendar static file method?
The first one you usually see is just vendor chaos.
Vendor chaos.
Yeah. You've got Outlook, Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, maybe Yahoo's still in the mix.
Right, all the different calendar apps people use.
And they all try to interpret that same static.icl file, but they do it slightly differently. There are inconsistencies in how they handle the data package.
Uh-oh. So what does that mean for the poor organizer trying to send the invite?
It means they can't just have one simple add to calendar button. It might not work reliably for everyone. So to try and make it work, the vendors pushing these button solutions have to show, like, 4 separate buttons.
Oh, I've seen those. Click here for Outlook, click here for Google Calendar, click for Apple iSeal.
Exactly. And right there, that's fail number 2, friction.
Because I have to stop and think?
You have to pause and figure out, wait, Which calendar is actually linked to the email address I used for this event? Or which one do I primarily use on this device?
Yeah, that hesitation is real. I've definitely clicked the wrong one before.
And if you click the wrong one, best case, it fails awkwardly. Worst case, maybe it imports to a calendar you never check.
Or it asks you to log in.
Right. Even if you pick the correct button, you often get bounced to a login screen for your Google or Microsoft account just to complete the download. More friction.
So 2 big hurdles already, just trying to get the date saved. That's got to cause people to just give up.
Huge drop-off potential, yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest technical problem, the one that forces that extra RSVP form, is fail number 3, missing receipts.
Receipts, you mean the yes, no, maybe responses?
Exactly. Remember, that .ical file is just a one-way download. It's static. It has no built-in way to talk back to the organizer server.
So it can't tell the organizer if I actually plan to attend.
Nope. It can't collect that crucial RSVP data that yes, no, maybe directly from your interaction with your own calendar client.
Okay, so the organizer managed to get the event onto my calendar, maybe?
Maybe.
But they still have zero clue if I'm coming, which is kind of the whole point for them, right? For planning, numbers, follow-up.
Absolutely critical data. So how do they solve that, since the button itself can't get the RSVP?
They have to add something else.
They have to bolt on a completely separate system. The mandatory RSVP form landing page.
Extra click.
It's a huge friction multiplier. Now you have to click the button, maybe download the file, then click another link, go to a different web page, fill out your name and email again, and then finally say, yes, I'm attending.
That's incredibly inefficient for everyone involved.
Wasted clicks, wasted developer time building and maintaining the form, terrible user experience. All because the initial button couldn't do the job.
Okay, and there's a fourth major fail.
Yes, and this one really hits the ongoing management of the event. No direct communication channel.
Meaning?
Once that static.ikill file is on your calendar, it's just sitting there, isolated.
Right.
If the organizer needs to change the event time, update the meeting link, add details, or even cancel the event.
They can't just push an update to my calendar entry.
Not through that static file. No, there's no connection back. Their only option is to send out generic emails titled, Important Update Regarding Event X.
Which, let's be honest, often get ignored or lost in the inbox.
Exactly. Leading to people showing up at the wrong time, clicking dead links, or missing the cancellation notice. Huge potential for confusion and frustration.
What a mess. Okay, so that's the bad actor laid bare. Let's pivot. Let's talk about the hero using the correct calendar invite protocol. You said earlier, protocols matter.
Yes. This is where things get smooth. The magic, if you want to call it that, is simply adhering to the established standards, the IETF specifications. These specs are like the universal rulebook for how different calendar systems should communicate reliably across the internet. It's server-managed communication, not just a file download.
Okay, so walk me through the user experience. If an organizer uses a proper calendar invite server, what happens differently for me, the attendee?
Right, so the organizer server sends the invite. It's typically delivered via email, but the email system recognizes it's not just text, it's a special calendar request because it's formatted according to the protocol.
Okay.
Your email provider, like Gmail or Outlook, then correctly talks to the calendar client you actually have linked to that email account.
So it knows where to send it.
Exactly. It presents the event details natively within your email or calendar interface and automatically prompts you for that yes, no, maybe response.
And crucially, I don't have to choose between 4 different buttons telling the system what calendar I use.
Precisely. That's pro number 1, automatic client hookup, and no more button generators. The protocol handles figuring out which client, Google, Outlook, Apple, is connected to your inbox. The whole button array nightmare just disappears.
That must save organizers a ton of hassle, too. No need to generate or update those button images or links.
And if they're using a proper REST API endpoint for sending these invites, the whole process can be automated, sending tracking responses. It's built into the protocol flow.
Okay, huge win on the user friction and organizer effort front. Now, what about the data? Getting those RSVPs back.
This is pro number 2, reliable data collection, because it's a two-way server-to-server communication.
The response comes back automatically.
Yes. When you click accept, decline, or maybe right there in your native calendar app on your phone, on your desktop, that response is sent back through the servers to the organizer system using those same standard protocols.
So the organizer gets near real-time, reliable data on who's planning to attend.
Instantly. No need for a separate form. The The system is designed for that feedback loop.
And that reliable data enables something even more powerful, right? You called it pro number 3, constant dialogue and alive buttons. What does that mean?
This is really cool, and it highlights the fundamental advantage. Once you accept the invite, the communication channel stays open, in a sense. The way the invite is structured using the protocol keeps certain parameters active. Specifically, keeps your RSVP status interactive.
Meaning the yes, no, maybe buttons inside the event on my calendar remain functional.
Exactly, they stay alive. So let's say you accepted an event invite today.
Okay.
But next week, your plans change. You just open that event on your calendar, click maybe or decline, and that updated response is immediately sent back to the organizer's server.
Wow. So the organizer gets continually updated, accurate headcount projections right up until the event.
Pure gold for planning. They see the real-time status, not just the initial response from weeks ago. Now, contrast that ease of updating your status with the nightmare of trying to update an event using the old add to calendar method.
Oh, man. Yeah. The organizer using the static file has to go back to their vendor tool.
Log in, change the details, regenerate all 4 of those stupid buttons.
Update the landing page where the button's live, update the separate RSVP form.
And then craft and send a brand new email blast telling everyone, hey, things changed. Please click here to download the new file and maybe fill out the form again.
Hoping people even see the email and bother to redo the whole process.
It's an operational disaster built on layers of inefficiency.
Compared to the proper invite where updates are just seamless.
Which brings us to pro number 4. Cross-platform reliability and updates. A correctly formatted invite using the standard protocol just works across Google, Microsoft, Apple, desktop, mobile. And if the organizer needs to change the time or cancel, they push an update via their server. It's not a new email you have to read.
It just changes on my calendar.
Yes, the event block on your calendar literally updates itself. Time shifts, location changes, cancellations. It reflects instantly in your month, week, or day view. It's a living entry, not a dead file.
That's how it should work. Okay, one more pro.
Pro number 5, international readiness. Huge benefit for global organizations.
How so?
Because the communication protocol is a global standard. If the invite is encoded correctly, like using UTF-8, it's inherently ready for different languages and time zones. Your local calendar client, the one on your phone or computer, handles displaying the interface elements in your language and adjusting the time based on your device's settings.
So the organizer doesn't need to create different buttons, different landing pages, different forms for Spanish, French, German audiences?
Nope. The protocol handles the localization heavy lifting. Unlike the Add to Calendar RSVP form combo, which would require separate setups for each region, massive time and cost saver.
Okay, stepping back, it really seems like the Add to Calendar button, while maybe born from a genuine need because the right tools weren't there, it just became this huge technical debt, a workaround that created far more problems, complexity, cost, friction than it solved in the long run.
That's why our sources called it a burning trash bin of complexity.
Yeah.
It forces organizers into these clunky, bolted-on extras like the RSVP form, just because the big commercial platforms haven't fully leaned into providing scalable native protocol tools for mass communication.
So the big takeaway for organizers listening is that switching to a proper calendar invite protocol system isn't just about better tech. It's about moving from a one-way, static, hope it works approach
Yeah, basically just tossing a file over the wall.
to establishing a reliable two-way communication channel directly between their system and their attendees' actual calendar clients, guaranteeing that data flows back and updates work.
And that fundamental ability, getting reliable, yes, no, maybe data instantly, sending updates automatically, it's all tied directly to following those universal calendar standards. Which leads to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given how much better the user experience and data reliability is with the proper protocol, what does the industry's ongoing heavy reliance on those high-friction landing pages and static add-to-calendar buttons really tell us?
Does it suggest that maybe, just maybe, the ease of deploying familiar but flawed marketing tools has often been prioritized over creating a genuinely seamless experience for the end user?
It's worth considering.
And imagine the future potential here. If organizations fully embrace tools like REST API endpoints that properly implement the calendar invite protocols, think how much smoother and more reliable transactional communications appointments, deliveries, deadlines could become.
We could move from hoping people see the update email to knowing the appointment is confirmed and updated right on their calendar. From uncertainty to certainty.
Definitely something to think about next time you click Add to Calendar.
That's our deep dive for today.
We'll catch you next time.